felt it would give us the best access to the strongest possible group of senior insurance decision makers.
Insurtech Insights is a must-do conference, I think, for the network that is built here.
The next session is quite interesting. It's by the SalesScreen. The topic of conversation is gamification in insurance. It's the solution for a fun, high-performance culture. May I call upon stage Mr. Harry Hindess, who is the account director of SalesScreen. Can we give him a round of applause? Thank you.
Thank you for a lovely introduction. Thanks everyone for joining today to learn about gamification. Now, it's not a new concept. Companies are already using this really well. Think of Duolingo, think of Peloton. They are helping their customers achieve their goals through motivation. So they're rewarding behaviors, for instance, when you learn a new language, of doing that every day. Every time you log on to Duolingo and complete a task, you're rewarded. Now, again, with Peloton, you're rewarded for your hitting your fitness goals, ultimately to get your end goal of being fit for that race. And what we do with gamification is we apply that to work. So we allow you to help your staff to fulfill their full potential by rewarding the behaviors they need to do to be successful for themselves, but ultimately also for your company as well. But it's not that simple. Everyone is an individual and everyone is motivated in different ways. So a lot of what we do when we work with companies is help them to tap into the different personalities in their business to motivate them in the right way. And when you can do that effectively, you can harness the power of motivation to drive the outcomes you want. A lot of the challenges we're helping insurers with at the moment and other companies revolve around employee engagement and motivation, particularly with hybrid working at the moment. The days of getting a pat on the back in the office are long gone. Finding ways to keep people feeling connected with the culture, feeling recognized is a big part of what we're doing at the moment. But also a lot of our conversations are around staff morale, a fun culture with the ongoing cost of living crisis, keeping people happy at work and having fun, and ultimately they will perform well when they're happy and they'll stay in your business for longer. And also it will help you to attract more employees because your brand is going to stand out when they talk to their colleagues, their peers, and bring people over from other insurers. As a company, SalesScreen are founded in Norway. We've been working with insurers since 2010, mainly in the Scandinavian market. And the reason we're here today is really to introduce this concept more to the UK and Irish market, where we're starting to get a lot of new customers now. In those 10 years, we've come up with this. This is a kind of high-level overview of the strategy to allow you to engage every employee in your business. Starting on the right-hand side here, you see different, what we call player types. Now, really, they're personality types, and you probably have your kind of personality tests you do with your employees. But just to briefly explain, relating to players, a killer, they're motivated by being top of the leaderboard. If you put a leaderboard in front of them, they'll do anything to win. We can probably think of those people in your company, and that is what motivates them. But let's think of other people, socialites. They love recognition, not only from managers, but peer-to-peer recognition. Explorers, they like learning trying new pathways to do their job. And achievers really want to hit their own personal milestones, attain status in the business. What we see a lot of companies, they tend to focus on the killer type personality. And normally we find it's because, particularly in sales, the killer type is the top performer normally, and they get promoted into a management position, and they motivate people in the way they feel they can be motivated. So really, if you have an effective motivation strategy, you're able to motivate all of these player types in your business, and then ultimately increase performance and help those people succeed. And applying this to our 5 key pillars, with visualization being the main one. And this is really where we see a lot of insurance companies struggle. You've got lots of data in different systems, a lot of the time relying on spreadsheets, reports, emails, intranets. We help mainly to really consolidate all this data, but make sure when you are trying to motivate the team, it's visual, it's engaging. people aren't waiting till the end of the day to see how they are doing towards their rewards, but they're seeing it throughout the day as they make calls with customers. And the 4 key pillars here: competition, of course, it's really good, it's fun, but again, making sure you're not only running winner-takes-all competitions, but you're running team competitions. Motivate your socialites, for example. But make sure that we find that companies often have long-term kind of yearly incentives where you have awards maybe at the end of the year or end of the quarter. We really see the best impact when you can implement short-term competitions as well. So whether that's end of the week, just to get a bit more fun and culture within the team as well, to keep them motivated. On top of that, rewards, but we're not only thinking about monetary or promotion, we're thinking about tangible rewards. If you think about what motivates you to win in these apps and things, they give you points, they give you levels, they give you prizes. Implementing that into your motivation strategy as well. Celebrating wins. Again, what we see is insurers are great at recognizing top performers, okay? You have your awards, this is the best person in claims, whatever department. We find you need to find a way of celebrating wins for each individual when they hit their own personal milestones. It's impossible if you don't use technology to do that. But what that means for that individual is they feel seen. So when they're working from home, they feel recognized because they're being celebrated for the hard work they put in as well. And then coaching, of course, if you want your team, and typically you'll see from the name, we mainly focus in sales, but gamification is applicable to really any mainly customer-facing team, so claims, customer service, where the goal is to serve your clients well, and you know as business owners and managers what they need to do to serve their clients well, and it's finding a way to get them to do that behavior. And coaching is educating them in the skill set. So we, again, I'll probably skip through this. We've got a video from Acrisure. Acrisure have implemented SalesScreen within their US sales team, and they've done it really well. They've really used these 5 key pillars to help with their accelerator program that you'll hear about for about 3 minutes now.
You know, when I look at our tech stack inside of Accelerator, and we have a number of great partnerships and great vendors, SalesScreen is a must-have. I'm Rob Erfurt. I'm the Director of Sales Strategy at Acrisure, the world's fastest growing fintech company. Acrisure's value in part comes from our lack of middle management. It allows us to be more agile. But it also becomes a challenge because we can't stay in front of our salespeople as much as we would like to, and it makes it difficult to inspect what we expect. What SalesScreen gives me is capacity. It gives me a coach that is the carrot, not the stick. Some organizations have layers and layers of management. That lends to accountability and inspecting what you expect. At Acrisure, that's not our business model. You've got a couple of people overseeing thousands of salespeople. How can you get the outcomes you desire? Well, SalesScreen becomes my sales managers, who I can count on to check in with my salespeople and keep them motivated to make just one more call.
Yeah, so
what we tried to do was find a way to motivate as many people as we could in a way that would be effective and impactful to them and the bottom line. So with SalesScreen, we're able to provide recognition. For a lot of people, that's more important than money. And what's great is we have leaderboards that I get calls about regularly when someone falls off. They say, I'm gonna be right back up there next week, don't you worry. So we like that we can provide recognition immediately. Most salespeople are competitive. So we try and leverage that desire to compete and match it with our desired outcomes, which in many cases is calls or meetings. We use competitions to keep them focused on making one more call or scheduling one more meeting. Once we had SalesScreen installed, it made it really easy for me to have progress reports with my managers because of the dashboards. While we get dashboards from legacy systems and from our CRM, None tell the story as well as the SalesScreen reports and dashboards. They found their place on our recurring executive meetings and to some shareholder meetings. The Accelerator playbook follows a lot of the best practices of revenue operations. The CRM, the sales training, measuring activity. So when we launched Accelerator, we had a few goals. They were revenue, meetings, and calls. We wanted to focus on behaviors though. So after implementing SalesScreen to drive those behaviors, we were able to find year-over-year growth in new revenue of 45%.
There we go. So that's Rob from Acrisure there. Just to finish off before we take some questions, we're really focused on modernizing these processes for insurers around recognizing their employees. Albeit this is a very sales-focused video, it is applicable for claims, customer service, any real customer-facing team. When we work with customers, we know it's not a one-size-fits-all. So the process is really to understand your business, understand the key metrics and key focus for your staff, and help you to motivate those behaviors in the right way using our system. Hence why we have really good reviews from customers around quality of support and ease of doing business with. We're at stand A8, which is just by the entrance. Connect me with me on LinkedIn, and I can share some more insights as well, or pop over and have a chat. And I think we're going to have some questions now, if there are any.
Thanks, Harry. It's very exciting. We can see how many people in the conference are excited about the gamification. I particularly like the slide about player engagement, where you celebrate, coach, reward, visualize, and what's one more? Compete on the SalesScreen. I think one thing personally, I would love to see the gamification part. Maybe if you're as interested as I am, you need to reach out to Harry so he can show you more. Now I'm going to open the floor to welcome our first questions of the day for Harry. Do we have any questions? If you raise your hand, my colleague will pass you the mic. I couldn't see very well. Do we have the first question? No, it's fine. Then I'm lucky, and you explained very well. I guess that's why people don't have questions. One question that I have is, I know you personally have like some insurance experience. Does SalesScreen usually work with insurance? Does it apply to all other industry? What are some of the industry that you see are very keen on this solution?
So personally, I worked for A Plan, now Howden, when I started my sales career, before coming to SalesScreen, seeing this and thinking, when I was a sales manager, I wish I had this in my office rather than a whiteboard. The first customer we had was an insurance company, and it was really, before all of this, over 10 years of development, it was just to replace that whiteboard. It was for leaderboards, it was for celebrations in the office. And since then we've been working with insurers for over 10 years. But we do work in other industries as well, other financial services, software companies, any company with KPI-driven employees, basically, yeah.
Any interesting story from insurance industry that you can share with us, like one success case that used gamification to encourage your team performance?
Yeah, so we worked with the domestic and general European team. They had a real key focus on cross-selling and making the most of every call, because that was a focus to maximize every lead, every incoming call they had. They hit all their goals fantastically in that particular behavior of cross-selling. And the reason it works so well is just that salesperson or customer service person remembering to ask the question, remembering to ask, is this product interesting to you? Does your wife also have a car? Can I look at her car insurance, for example? Gamification is a great way of just keeping that top of mind. Those business-focused questions that you want everyone to ask on every call is where it works really well.
Yeah, I agree. I think gamification helps build habits where people are they're easy. We still have 1 minute. I'm going to welcome one last question from the floor. Do anyone want to grab Harry right now? If not, Harry will be umbrella. Harry will be around. So send Harry a message if you have any questions about gamifications in insurance. Let us give Harry a big round of applause thank you for his sharing.
Thanks, everyone.